What's up, guys? I hope you all are doing well today. Today I'm headed out for a nice chill paddle to kind of recover since my competitions that took place in California at the first ever USA SUP National Championships. And during today's paddle session, I simply want to share with you guys kind of how my overall experience was training underneath booth training, if it actually made me a faster paddler or not. So let's head out there today and let's talk about it. All right, let's get my watch started here. And away we go. Man, it is shaping out to be another beautiful day here in La Paz, Baja California, sir. Definitely can't complain, because I know many of you in the north, here in the States and Canada, are definitely starting to experience your colder temperatures. So I apologize for that, because here, man, it's starting off around 70 degrees this morning. We get the high and low 80s, so it's gonna be a beautiful day here in Baja once again. Now let's talk a little bit about booth training now. And if you're unfamiliar with who Michael Booth is a multi-world champion when it comes to paddleboard racing and has about a decade worth of experience of paddleboarding and racing on the water. So needless to say, he has a lot to offer and a lot of advice to give from his personal experience. So with that, a few years ago, he actually designed an online training platform called Booth Training, where he helps paddleboard athletes reach and accomplish their SUP goals. So when I first heard about this program, I knew I had to give it a try, just to see what it was all about and see if it actually helped me become a better and faster paddler. So when the time came for me to sign up and compete at the first ever USA SUP Championships in California in November, I thought, what better time than now than to reach out to Michael Booth, try this program, and see if I can beat or compete at my highest level for this competition. Because obviously I wanted to do well at it. So I reached out to Michael Booth to talk about his program and see if he could help me prepare for this race. And in all transparency, we actually decided to do a collaboration. So I actually did not pay for his services of training over the past 3 months, but rather in our collaboration, I'm creating some content for him and sharing with you guys, like this video, about how my experience was doing his training. So I just want to be fully transparent with you guys that was our deal, and that I personally did not actually pay for this program. But at the same time, I was not paid to do this video either. So I want to be honest with you guys about how my experience was and if I would recommend this program or not. All right, so now let's talk a little about how this program actually works before I share with you guys my thoughts about it. So when I first started the program with Michael Booth, the first thing we did was simply have a call to talk about what some of my goals were that I wanted to accomplish. That way he knew how to shape my program of training in order to help me best reach those goals. So after that initial call, he sent me my first 2 weeks of training right away and got me started, because I was on a little bit of a tight schedule in terms of only having about 2.5 months till my competition in California. So those first 2 weeks of training were more of just seeing where I was at in my current conditioning and just seeing if I could handle the workload that he was going to give me in terms of workouts. So he didn't give me my entire 2.5 months of training all at once, but rather in increments. So the first 2 weeks, then after that, if I did well and could handle the workload okay, he planned the next 2 weeks out for me. And then after the next 2 weeks, so on and so forth. So what's great about that is if I have an off week or if I'm doing really well, he can adjust the training accordingly. That way it's not just set in stone all at once. So really well designed in terms of that sense. So as the weeks went on, the first month I did 5 days of training. I did 4 days on the water and 1 day off the water, doing a cross-training run. And in terms of strength training, I did 2 days of strength training every single week for that first month. Then after that first month, moving the second month, we upped things up a little more where I did 6 days of training. So I did 5 days on the water, once again 1 day off the water with some cross training running. And I did between 2 to 3 strength training sessions every single one of those weeks as well. And then since I was on a little bit tighter time frame for training, we trained all the way up until a week before my competitions. And we kind of backed things off that last week, give myself time to recover and be tip-top shape to compete at the USA Sup National Championships. All right, get turned around here and head it back the other direction. I'm trying to take things easy today because I'm all mic'd up and don't want to fall in the water and ruin my mic today. That would be terrible. All right, get a little drink of water here. Wet the whistle. All right. Let's talk a little bit about also now of how you actually get his workouts. So Michael actually uses a platform called Final Surge, which is really nice because when he sends you the workouts through this app, you can simply pull up the app and you can see your workouts in a month view or weekly view or daily view and kind of get an overall picture of what he has planned for you that week of training. So you can pull up that calendar, pull up your workout for the day, see what it's all about. And then for me, since I use an Apple Watch, I use Strava. So after I record my workout on my watch, that automatically gets sent to Final Surge, where Michael Booth can see how my heart rate was, how my pacing was, how my speed was, and everything like that. So even though he's not here in person with me, he can still kind of see an outside picture or view of how the workout went and how I did. Now as well, if you use a Garmin watch, you can also have a link to your Garmin workouts. And the same thing, it'll sync automatically to Final Surge, where Michael can see how you did for the workout. As well as this platform, you can message Michael Booth. So say after a workout, I just wasn't feeling it, couldn't hit all the reps or whatever, which actually happened one day when I was feeling a little sick. I can simply send Michael a message directly in the app for that workout and just say, hey, the workout didn't go as planned, this is why. And then Michael can respond to that message as well. So overall, it's a great platform to use, super user-friendly, and a great experience. What's also great about this platform or this training as well is during your training process, Michael Booth will do a video stroke analysis for you to help you improve your paddle stroke. Now, I'm definitely not paddling with the best paddle stroke right now, doing this chill paddle as I'm just kind of cruising along. But I was able to send a video on my paddle stroke to Michael. And then what he did was he marked it up for me and then sent me back another video explaining some ways I can improve my paddle stroke or to become more efficient, as well as increase the amount of power or force I'm applying to my stroke as well. So overall, it's making me a better, more efficient, and faster paddler. So when I did that video analysis, two things that got to me was one, keep my top hang close to my head or to have better reach, as well as burying my blade deeper in the water and giving a little more flex in my knees as I dig into that paddle stroke. So like right here, a little better as I'm paddling along. All right, enough of that. So same thing for you. When you do this program, you'll also send a video to Michael and he'll analyze it and help you improve your paddle stroke as well. So another great thing about a training program, it'll also help you become a better paddler apart from just the workouts themselves. All right, so that's kind of just an overall picture of how the program works, how you get your workouts, how he does a video analysis for you on your paddle stroke, and all of the above. So overall, very well laid out, and I really enjoyed just how the whole program worked. Let's talk about some of my thoughts now about some things I enjoyed about the workouts or the program, as well as some ways I feel like it can be improved upon also. So let's first talk about some ways I feel like it can be improved from my personal experience. The first one for me is I honestly would have really enjoyed having like a midway call to check up on how things are going. So I had the initial call at the very beginning of the program, and after that the only communication we had was through WhatsApp and message, as well as through Final Surge, which are obviously still great forms of communication. But it's also nice just having a personal call, which I said I would have enjoyed kind of in the middle of the whole training season, just to kind of catch up, share a little more in depth of how everything's going for me, as well as get some more feedback from him as the coach. So that's kind of the first thing I would have enjoyed, just having a midway call checkup. And then the next thing I would have really enjoyed having was just an overall summary of how the whole training program was going to work. So as I said, I got my workouts in increments of 2 weeks at a time, but I was never really given just kind of like an overall general picture of how the whole training program was going to work in terms of how my workouts were increased, when we were going to back off, and things like that. Now this is partly my fault, where I should have reached out to Michael Booth and asked him this personally, which I know for a fact he would have done so for me. But thinking back on my time now, it would have been nice, even just from the beginning, to have him explain to me how my workouts were going to progress through my time frame of training and how they're going to decrease, just so I could mentally have an idea of what to expect in the coming weeks as we train. So I wasn't looking for like a detailed answer in terms of how every single week was going to work, but rather just a general answer of how things were going to progress. So that's number 2 of how I feel like the program could have been better. And then lastly, the last thing I would have really enjoyed this whole program that unfortunately is just not possible to do is having just Michael Booth here in person to coach me and train me, as that would have been incredible. There's just something about having a coach in person that just enhances the whole experience. And so you're kind of sacrificing that experience training with Michael Booth online. Obviously, you're still getting great coaching, but having an in-person coach is hard to beat that. But obviously, as I said, with this program, it's kind of worth the sacrifice, as even though you can't be with Michael Booth in person, you kind of get that next best experience of having him coach you online. So anyways, would have been awesome to have him here in person training me, but obviously when he has athletes across the entire world, that's just not possible. All right, now let's talk about some things I actually did enjoy and love about this workout program, some things that stuck out to me. The first one is I really enjoy just having a professional coach plan all my workouts for me. Typically, I plan all my workouts myself, and so it takes a lot of time and effort to sit down, think things out, and get the plan worked out for my training program. So just being able to relax from that and take a break from training or planning my own trainings and giving that responsibility over to Michael Booth to do for me was super nice. As well, just having peace of mind knowing that I was going to get quality workouts that were going to make me a better paddler coming from Michael as a coach. Another thing that I really enjoyed about the program as well is how I feel like he really cared about me as an athlete. I feel like sometimes there are coaches out there who say they care about their athletes, but the reality is they don't really, because their athlete is feeling sick or having an off day. They still tend to push the athlete super hard. But thankfully with Michael, he definitely listens to you as an athlete. So for example, when I was feeling sick one day, he gave me the option to back things off a little bit and take things a little bit easier that week. So that was really nice for me just to see a coach who was listening to me and did care about me, about how I was feeling, and just overall just how my overall experience was. So I really appreciate that about Michael. Definitely a great quality about him is how he really cares about his athletes, and not only wants to see them succeed on the water, but even off the water as well, which is absolutely great to have as a coach. And then the last thing I really enjoyed about his program that stuck out to me was his communication. It was so great and so nice being able to just ask him a question, either through WhatsApp or through Final Surge, and have him give me a response at least within 24 hours. So that was super nice. Even though the response was just super short, I still appreciated him taking the time to answer my questions or anything like that. So I really appreciated that part about his program. All right, I'm gonna finish up this recovery paddle now. And then at the end of it, just gonna share my overall thoughts and opinions and whether I'd recommend this program to you or not. So stay tuned. All right, and time. A nice, easy 4K paddle complete. Nothing crazy today, just want to get out of here, move my body a little bit, and talk to you guys as well. It's a great paddle session. All right, real quick, let's wrap up this video now, and I'm going to share with you my final thoughts on this program, if I actually recommend it to you as a paddleboard athlete or not. So as you heard me say in this entire video, I actually really did enjoy my entire experience training with Michael Booth. I feel like overall it actually did make me a better paddler, and it actually made me a faster paddler, which I'll share here with you in just a second. So if you are someone who's looking to improve their technique, your overall speed, or even your endurance, I highly recommend you check out this program with the links down below. Contact Michael Booth, and I guarantee if you put in the work, you will see results. So for me personally, after doing the whole training program and then competing at the USA Stop National Championships, I also saw results. So my previous 10K time was around 1 hour, 12 minutes. And after I did the race in California for another 10K, my time dropped down to 1 hour, 5 minutes. So I improved by a whole 7 minutes, which is absolutely crazy. Now that does probably have to do with the type of board I was paddling on. My previous time was done on an inflatable race board, where this most recent race was done on a hard composite race board. So that does play, as I know, a major factor in terms of speed on the water, but also it has to do a lot with Michael Booth's training and his coaching for me, which I did feel like I became a stronger and faster paddler because of his training as well. Another way I can tell is after the race, I felt great afterwards. I didn't feel bonked or zonked. I was still tired, obviously, after the first few hours, but after that, I still felt energized, and I feel like all the training I did leading up to the race allowed my body to adapt and be able to handle that kind of workload from a tough, hard race like that. So overall, there you have it. It's not only is a great training program, but also made me a faster paddler. It can also make you a faster paddler as well. So go check it out, give it a try, and go claim your next SUP victory.